Thank you, thank you. So this project is about China's national innovation strategy using innovative city program as a kind of a pillar. So we know that if we look around the world, many countries have adopted or have articulated national innovation strategies to maximize the innovation output of enterprises and organizations. Right? So you can see many policies embedded in, included in this kind of national strategy, right? Including intellectual property rights protection, right? Favorable tax treatment, right? Improving regulatory environment, this kind of policy mix, right? Now, China launched its national innovation strategy officially in 2006. Now, this time it's different from earlier ones. I mean, innovation was always talked about this by the central leadership, Chinese central leadership. But this time, right, the leadership realized that it's essential for the country to have more self-dependent innovation capability. And this thing continued up to now. I mean, particularly in this kind of current confrontation with the United States and the West over this kind of technology issue or global dominance issue. You can understand well. Now, China's authoritarian regime, right, facilitates its implementation of this kind of national strategy, right? So the government, the central government, the provincial government, the local governments are good at coordinating actions and the policies across various across them, right? And so one striking feature is the establishment of the innovative city program, right? So in a vast country, right, with a large regional disparity, right, the Chinese government relies on the initiatives of local governments to explore new ways to implement the national innovation strategy that cater to local situations, right? And of course, the cities have their advantages with a high concentration of firms, talents, and resources. Right? So municipal government's coordination in the implementation of various policies is likely to stimulate the potential of innovation in the cities, particularly those firms in the cities. Right. So now, in many countries, right, including China, we observe this kind of vertical system, right? Vertical system. So along some ministry, along some particular industry line, right? The government could coordinate efforts, right, to do research and development, to develop a particular new technology, right? This was also the case with China, and China had its advantage because it still, I mean, it had a long history of central planning, right? Economy. So right, you can see some key technology like lunar exploration, this kind of thing, right, was emphasized. Now, but on the other hand, China tried to use market force to encourage cities and enterprises operating in these cities to explore ways. So this time, this kind of innovation encouragement strategy is now confined to some particular industry lines, right? It's more broad-based. So many industries, firms in many industries can benefit from this kind of government favorable policy. So in this study, we look at the listed companies in China because the patent information is available for listed companies more easily, right? And so we conduct a panel data set, simple ones, of China's listed firms from 2004 to 2016, and use differences approach to explore the potential impact of innovative city program, right, on firms' innovation output. We look at the patents applied, the patents granted, and we do find some significant effects of this program on innovation outputs, and the effect was more salient for the more original category of innovation patents, the so-called invention patents. Right. So we look at the invention patents, and utility model patents, right? The invention patents worked well, right? So in this sense, it's good news. And our finding, we also conducted many econometric analysis to ensure the validity of the methodology, including the untriple balance matched sample analysis, the PSM property score matching. So we try to make the innovative cities and the non-innovative cities, right, more compatible, and then we find that our findings remain valid, right? And more importantly, based on the data available, we explore and highlight the 4 primary avenues through which the Innovative City program stimulated the corporate innovation and raised firm innovation output. First, right, the program prompt local governments to provide a helping hand to firms and provide a favorable platform for corporate innovation. So interestingly, we find that corporations operating in those innovative cities with relatively slower overall progress in their transition toward market economy, in those cities with weaker law enforcement, in those cities with heavier government micromanaging, and in those lying in the landlocked middle and the western regions of China, displayed a more striking increment in innovation output. So for firms in the cities, operating in the cities with a weak foundation, right, the effect of the Innovative City program on their innovation capability and outputs is more striking. That's the basic. So this suggests that that local governments are probably created a de facto favorable regulatory and business environment, although the overall strength of the institutions in these cities may not be improved dramatically overnight. Second, we found that we understand the importance of intellectual property rights protection, right, in these kind of innovation activities. So we look at specifically at the IPR, intellectual property rights protection, right, particularly the enforcement of these. And we find that, right, in those cities with a weaker, right, IPR record earlier, right, the firms operating in them, right, demonstrated a more striking improvement in their innovation output performance. That means the patent performance. Third, the Innovative City program prompted local governments to increase fiscal subsidies to corporate innovation activities, which obviously were the most direct and prominent means by which governments can support firms. And lastly, the Innovative City governments also encouraged banks to enlarge credit offerings to support firms' innovative activities. So these are several, fiscal subsidy, bank loans are conventional channels, right? Okay, so yeah, I will stop. So that's the basic.
Thank you very much for